Hello, welcome to my live Stampin' Up tutorial. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. My name is Kelly Rose. My website is kellyrose.stampinup.net and my blog is rosiescrapper.com. I thank you so much for joining me. If you are joining me live or on the replay, I'd love for you to say hello to me. And let me transition here so I can get started with the project. It shouldn't be too long unless I hear requests for making. Let me turn on a light. Oh, I can't have the lights on when the camera's on me, but I need lights on for the stamping. Okay, I think that will be enough. Nope, that's too bright. All right, so how is everybody tonight? Looks like we have light. So let me just switch this around so I can see your comments. And thanks for bearing with me. Here is this adorable gift card holder. So I used the gingham paper again, the gingham cottage, and then I'm gonna do a little inside greeting as well. So I'm going to show you how to put this all together and let me know what you think. All right, so get the stamp set out of the way. I need to start with a piece of, I'll share this one with you later. Well, I'll share it with you now. So someone made something very similar to this. With this as the belly band. I think I may have copied this exactly. I got the idea from them. This was something that my dad wanted to gift everyone with some cash, and so he asked me to make some cards for him, and so I am stealing this idea, but I am modifying it just a bit, and I do not remember who I grabbed that idea from because I was in a rush. And it was, Christmas time. Let's see if I can adjust this just a little bit like that. Okay, so I am trimming a piece of 12 by 12 paper to 5 inches. You do need the full 12 by 12 length, but I will explain what you could do if you don't have 12 by 12 paper and you want to make this out of 11.5 by 12 cardstock. There is a spot in the middle that would work well for switching it. Okay, so I have a piece of paper around here somewhere with all of my measurements on it. There we go. Okay, so, and I will do this twice, so if you want to just watch the first time, then you can write the measurements down the second time. This is going to be scored at 1 1/4. Scored at 1 1/4. And then move it up to 5 1/8 because this middle section needs to be 3 3/8. So 1 3/4 and 3 3/8 adds up to 5 1/8. 5 1/8. And then I did the next measurements by turning your paper around. So these are the two things that I've already done. Now I'm going to flip the paper around and score it at 3 3/8 again. And then 5 1/8 again. So your ruler marks are in 16 inches. So if you're counting up to 5, then you need to. Yep, that's what I wanted. That worked out. So I'm going to grab my bone folder to give these all a nice crease. So this top one will be your flap to open up the card. And then I'm starting to create the center. So this needs to come up, and then this will fold up this way. So you'll have this little piece right here. So this would be a perfect spot to do 2 pieces. So you would just need to have 5 1/8 by 5, and then this one, oh gosh, it would be 1 3/4 plus 5 1/8. So let's see if I can do that math in my head. No, I'm not going to bother doing that math in my head. I think it's maybe 6 6/8. Yeah, I think that's it, because I think I did that earlier. 6 3/4 would be this side. Then you would score it at 1 3/4, 3 3/8. And then these two pieces could come together like that to do your centerpiece that's going to hold your card. Okay, so the first thing I think we should do is put some tear and tape along one of these. These are these 1 3/4 sections, and you want to come down the side of both sides of one of them, and then so you have this fold line between them. That is not where you want the tape to be. That's where the card is going to slip in. So you want it up against, you want your tear and tape up against this 3 3/8 inch flap. So let's go ahead and remove that protective coating. So if you like to give gift cards and you decide to make 1 or 2 of these, I'd love for you to let me know. Okay, so I have a few different ideas for what you could do here. I do suggest taking the gift card that you're going to give and just laying it down there and maybe making a mark with a pencil so that you get this big enough. You're going to cut that off, so that won't really matter in the long run. Now, I did have one idea for this that I thought would work, and that is to take one of these stitched rectangles and put this in your cut and emboss machine, and just cut that off. Like, I would tape that in place with some non-sticky tape, and then just cut that off like that, just like maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, using this rectangle. It is the rectangle that is 4th largest. Okay, but I also think that doing a punch would also be just as easy. So I have the I think this is the Taylor tag. No, Essential Tag punch. And I'm just going to turn it upside down and try to hold that as straight as possible. Oh. Well, I've actually never used this punch. This is my first attempt, and it doesn't like going through 2 layers, that's for sure. There we go. Okay, then I will need to, because when I come all the way over here, I'm not reaching that center area. So I just need to kind of slide it along. If you can see, I'm trying to line that up perfectly. There we go. And then finally I can come all the way down to my pencil mark. But I can't really see what I'm doing here, so I'm just going to make 3 punches. Ooh, it got off a little. That won't matter because that part will be punched out again anyway. And then the final one. Now, if you didn't want to make your slot that big, oh, I missed. So I'm going to go back in and get that off of there. Line that up a little better. There we go. So if you just take your time, be careful, you can make that pretty straight. So then, let's see, where's my card? Here it is. I'll show you how that would fit in there. Trying not to show what card this is in case there are, copyright issues. I don't want to have an issue with that. Oh no. The perils of live demonstrations, right? So if I were going to give this, I would put like a little decoration right there, like it was supposed to be there, and see, no one would ever know. All right, so let's talk about the belly band. So the belly band I'm going to create with one of these label dies. Oops, that's the wrong one. And that's the wrong one. And here they are, right next to me. So I'm using the seasonal label dies, and I have cut out the largest one. That is what I'm going to stamp my greeting on. But any of those sizes would work. It just kind of depends on how much you want to stamp on here. So let me zoom in a little more for the stamping. I'm going to use, I think I showed you the stamp set, the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. And I'm using the colors Early Espresso and the other one is Calypso Coral. So I'm going to get this in here as well, because I'm going to stamp the coffee cup on here as on the inside greeting panel. So starting with my Early Espresso, I'd like to stamp the phrase, today's plan, consume. And then the coffee. In Early Espresso as well. The coffee outline, I'm going to stamp it really low. And then I'm going to fill in with the Calypso Coral. And I wasn't careful enough with, I love these little stars. We need more of them, don't we? So cute. All right, so a little bit of vapor coming off of the coffee cup. There. All right, so I'll set that aside. I'm going to do another coffee cup inside. So I'll start with the Early Espresso. I really should have gotten out my foam mat for this, shouldn't I have? I think I will for the inside, since that didn't turn out as nicely as I wanted it to. Let's see if it works better. It'll probably also work better if I just hold it for a second. There we go. Let's see, is there anything else in there that I would like to have on the inside? Today's plan, consume coffee. I don't think so. So this would just be, you know, like thank you, or whatever reason I am giving this. And even if I'm giving it for Christmas, I could stamp Merry Christmas if it's a Christmas card. All right, so done with the stamping. That was easy. And moving on to the belly band. So the belly band will be a piece of Early Espresso. Getting kind of crowded here. Cut to 1 1/4. And then I want to, so you can't see me anymore, can you? So let me zoom out. 1.5 on this end. And then I want to add 3.5, so 1.5 plus 3.5 is 5. So I'm going to move this up to 5 so that that center section is 3.5, and I'm just going to double check, and yes, it is. And then I'm going to flip this around. I need this to be 6.5 total, so I'm going to cut off 4.5. So I flipped it around and I cut off 4.5. So that I have a little opening right there, which you don't have to have. You could have it go all the way up. Doesn't really matter. If you wanted to go all the way up, you could cut it at 4 instead of 4.5, that last cut. All right, so let's talk about how we're going to get this on. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. Is this the one I was making? Yes. So I do want to wrap this around like that, and let's get the bone folder. Give that a good crease. All right, so with your tear and tape, and I'll zoom back in for this part. So on the band, you want to add tape right up against the ends of it. And then on the panel that you're going to put on, you want little pieces. I'm just holding it up there to kind of measure it, center it, and I'll go a little on the small side in case I'm not finding the center. I don't have tape sticking off on the back. And I will just put this together one at a time. Let me make sure that I have the top up. So I'll start with the top and just remove the protective coating there. I'm going to put this back on because I want to make sure that I have the right tightness. And then I'll take this off the top. And just trying to center that. There we go. So the top is on, and now I'll work on putting the bottom together. Oh, you know, maybe that is why I made it a little shorter, so it wouldn't interfere with the... There we go. Cute, huh? Really simple. So you could dress this up. You could layer it up, make it poofy, add a bunch of die cuts, make it really special, add any kind of embellishment, make it as fancy as you want. So I do want to punch the corners just because I feel like this little punch gets neglected. It's the very best trio punch. So we'll have that on the front. And then when I go to this side to do this corner, I want to flip it over. Is that going to give me what I want? I don't think so. No. So this one has the curve. Oh, no, it is going to give me what I want. I just know that flipping it over is what you need to do if you want them to look alike, and they didn't look alike. So I'm going to pretend like they looked alike and figure that out later. So sorry. Should have practiced that. I think I just needed to stick it in the other direction. Okay, so let's see if we can get that belly band back on. No, I need to do the inside. So just add this with a little tape. And I have a gift card holder ready to go using that adorable gingham cottage paper again. And there we go. Isn't that cute? All right, so I did promise I would do it a second time. So let me go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to grab another piece of paper. I think this time I'll do this adorable red one. So I'm cutting this to 5 by 12. And then trimming this at 1 3/4. Where are my measurements again? I've lost them. They won't be very helpful to anyone who sees them. I apologize. So 1 3/4. And then up here at 5 1/8. And then you do the same thing from the other end. So take your paper out, flip it around, and do the exact same thing. Or sorry, 3 3/8. 3 3/8. I apologize, it's not the exact same thing. It's the exact same measurements, just in a different order. So 3 3/8, and then come up to 5 1/8. And what you'll be left with then is the two 1 3/4 here in the center. So let's fold that up with the bone folder. And again, if you wanted to use 2 pieces of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, you would just make them, make one of them 5 1/8, and the other one 6 3/4. Okay, there we go. All right. So once again, the tape will go in here. And you want to put that along the outside edge of those 2 pieces that are the same size, and then again on the inside edge, or sorry, outside edge of one flap. You only need to do one side, and get it all the way up to the crease line. And I think this time I'll try the die for doing my opening, see how that works. All right, so I only want to cut this flap that I've glued together. So I'm going to grab the cut and emboss machine. And that was the 4th largest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just want to cut a little opening. This is not my top plate, but it will work. Ooh, that really wanted to stick in there. And I should have used the tape, as I mentioned earlier, because I think it wiggled a little bit. So there you have the spot for your gift card. I think I would not go down as far. Try to stick to a 1/2 inch because it doesn't have very far to go. I think it will still hold the gift card because the tape is there. And the gift card won't come very high up, so I think that'll work out just fine. All right. So let's see if I can figure out this punch again. All right. So I'm coming in this way. There, that did it. Cool. Okay, so let me just, I'm not going to punch this, but I had this in my view and I did one side, came down from the top into it, and then flipped it over and came down from the top into it. So that's the way that works. All right, so let's make another label to decorate. I think I will stick with that large size. Will it fit on there like that? Barely. So let's just take up the whole paper. If you have found this video to be helpful at all and you would like to try this idea, or you just want to say, hey Kelly, I support you, thumbs up would be so greatly appreciated. Also, if there's anybody that you think might enjoy this video, sharing it out on your social media is super helpful. All right, so I think this one is on my desk, so let's stamp a little bit with this stamp set. A little bit of decorating, and then I have Christmas to Remember on my desk. So how about have a holly jolly? I think I'll start with that. I think that would look nice on there. And then we'll just figure out some stamps to stamp around that. Maybe I'll come down a little. No, I'll center it as best I can. Let's see if that got on there pretty straight. I think it did. I'm going to go with black this time. And I'm just going to test it. Looks pretty straight. I'm just lining the label up with the grid paper. There we go. I hope everyone can hear me tonight. No one has said anything about not being able to. So I'm assuming everything's working because I did do a little bit of rearranging with my sound to try and get rid of that awful buzz. I should probably stamp holly since I'm going to be saying have a holly jolly Christmas, right? So that will look nice right there. Let me grab a block. And how about garden green? Oh, I want my mat, don't I? So I'm going to go for 3 of these. Just really spruce it up with holly all the way around. And I might even add some other type of foliage, but let's add some red dots. I'm not going to go with the berries. I'm just going to add the red dots to get started with and see how it looks. I wanted to keep it super simple, so we'll see how well I do with that. Oh, looks cute. These little dots are sweet, aren't they? All right, done. Before I make a mess of it, let's quit. All right, so how about black for the belly band? Actually, I wonder how this would look for the belly band. I think that'd be cute. And that way I'm using up some more of that paper. So that was cut to 1 1/4. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to a long piece. Ooh. So the products are not linked on the video as I am doing this live, but they will be if you're watching the replay. They should be linked later tonight. If you are interested in purchasing any of the products you've seen me use tonight. Let's see if I can remember. I wanted that 3 1/2. So this is 1 1/2, so 5. So that was at 1 1/2, and this is at 5. And then I'm turning this around and cutting it at 4 1/2. Wait, no, this is wrong because this is... So I'm cutting it at 5. Yeah, that should be fine. It may not be exactly the way I did the last one. I apologize. I just know that this center section needs to be 3 1/2 to fit around. Oh. There. Oh, there's the flap. Okay. Oh, that lines up nicely, doesn't it? Like it was designed that way. All right, so I got that all the way up. So this will still work. Still put the, yeah, still put the tape on there the same way. So as I said, this was going to be very simple. Not my usual. But you know, maybe someone right before Christmas will need a quick and easy project. And of course you could do any kind of papers that you have, any kind of labels that you have with the same measurements. So all the way up to the end. And then the other piece all the way up to the end. And then we'll put these together separately. The whole thing is wanting to come up. All right, so here we go. And now let's do the bottom half. All right. And there we go. I think the coffee one is my fave. This one is cute, but I think if I had to do it over again, I would lift that up, that greeting up on another piece and let that kind of be the background, or do it on a piece of black in white embossing. As a matter of fact, I think I might just check that out right now and see if I like it better. So it's this, and when I am going to emboss in white on black paper, I like to stamp in craft ink instead of Versamark. So let me grab my white craft. And let's do a little hang the white. Here's my little paper. And let's zoom in a little. Heat it just until it's shiny. And let's see if I can get some of that embossing buddy powder off of there. All right, so the die that I want to use is this one. we'll just cut that out like that. And I think that this will be an improvement. There we go. There. I think that's cuter. All right, so let's add that with some dimensionals. I probably won't stop with this. I probably will add a little bit more decoration. And I want to add enough of these dimensionals because this is a belly band and it'll take a little bit of abuse coming off and on. There we go. So I'm thinking maybe a little bit of greenery right there. Maybe a couple of die cuts and some little red gems. I don't know what I have that would work for that. I think these are all too big. Let me see what I have in here. So this is the Christmas banner dies. Oh, there's some little holly leaves. That might work, huh? I wonder if those are stamped images. I think they probably are. And then little red dots, which we could do in sparkles. Oh, it's going to get all fancy now, isn't it? And I said I was going to keep it simple, but yes, it is a stamped image, and I like it. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go with it. And if you're still hanging in there with me, I appreciate it. All right, so a little block. The garden green ink should be nearby. There it is. Ugh. Getting quite the pile over here. Oops, YouTube is giving me a message. I'm thinking probably 4. Will be needed. And let's get those cut out with, I'm just going to grab the mini this time. Takes up a little less space. And we can cut 2 of these out at a time. They were so generous and gave us 2 of the same, and that isn't working. Well, that's curious. Oh, so it's not for the stamped images. You would want to, if you're going to use that other one, you're going to need to just use paper. Okay. Because, oh, there's 2 stamps. Duh. Look, there's 2 stamps there. Well, I'll just get the other one out so I can do them both. There it is. I didn't notice that. Silly, silly me. So let's stamp that. Put this here before I lose it. I need my foam. And let's see if I can find that green ink again. Because like I said, I've got quite a pile going here. No. There it is. There we go. This one goes on there. And this one must go on this guy. And they are slightly different. Nice. Okay. Let's see if this will hold still. I think I got it. Lovely. And let's do another one. And then I'll have to find my red gems. Oh, did you hear that drop? That's always a little frightening. Okay. I'm gonna look real quick. And, oh, there it is. I found it. Yay! Oh. Lovely. All right. So how about something like this? And then on the other side, and then some little red gems. Okay. Or we could just do one side, maybe just one. Yeah, actually I think I like that better. Just the one. Save those for another project. And let's find the red gems. This part might be a challenge. Not in there. Not in there. some red gems in the holiday, but I think there's a packet that's just red. Perhaps they are in here. Oh, I have these old ones that I love a lot. I think I'll just use those. There are also the red pearls. I'm certain there's something in the current catalog that you could use that's red. These are several years old now, I think. And just one will do it. Cute. All right. I'd love to know what you think. If you plan on making one, ways you can connect with me on social media are at Stampin' Up with Kelly on Facebook, and then I have a group called Rosie Scrap Your Stampers where I would love to take a look at your projects. If you've done these, I'm sure somebody could do a really beautiful job of dressing these up and making them really gorgeous for birthdays or holidays, and I'd love to see what you do if you decide to try this simple card holder. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and until next time, happy stamping!